What did your child say that made the school call you immediately? My daughter wrote that Lucas and Mateo lived in Miami and they were daddy's other kids. That's what her teacher told me over the phone. I paused my work thinking it was a call about forgotten lunch, but her voice held that careful, quiet tension teachers use when something feels serious. She explained that my daughter had drawn two boys into her family tree with names, ages, and dotted lines to me. My daughter was 10, smart and observant, and noticed things most people ignored. So when her teacher assigned a family tree project, I figured she'd enjoy it. Her mom and I were divorced, but we got along okay. We checked her homework, showed up to conferences, and nothing was messy. So I didn't expect to get called in like this. The teacher handed me her paper, and at the bottom of the tree, two names stood out: Lucas, 8, and Mateo, 11. Their branches connected directly to me with dotted lines, and she even added a note saying they lived in Miami with my other family. My heart sank, not from guilt, but from confusion I couldn't explain yet. Her teacher stared at me like I might admit something and told me my daughter had confidently explained everything and said she'd heard me mention them at a family gathering and said she'd seen their photos on my phone and they were my sons from another mother. The teacher carefully asked if there was anything the school should be aware of, and I didn't blame her for asking, but I didn't know how to answer. I told her there was no family in Miami or secret kids, and she listened, but her eyes had doubts. She suggested I follow up at home in case my daughter was dealing with something complex. The meeting ended politely, but I left feeling shaken. I needed to figure out where this came from fast. I sat with my daughter at home and asked about the cousins she wrote, and she looked confused that I didn't remember. She told me I'd said their names while talking to Uncle Josh and mentioned two kids in Miami who were really smart and already buying properties, and added that I'd shown photos of them on my phone that same day. And then it all made sense because weeks ago I told my brother about a real estate startup I invested in with two young guys in their early 20s based in Miami. I called them the Florida kids and joked they were like sons to me and showed their business launch photos because I was proud of how far they'd come. But what I hadn't noticed that day was my daughter sitting on the cooler behind me because she'd been quiet the whole time. She heard every word and saw the images and filled in the rest herself because to her it all fit perfectly. I explained it gently and told her those boys weren't family, they were business partners. I explained that kids didn't always mean children, like sons didn't mean actual sons. She listened but got confused and reminded me that I'd said I helped raise them up. To me it was casual business talk, but to her it sounded like being a dad. She'd remembered everything but not the context, and that made it even harder to correct. We sat together and redid the family tree from scratch, and her teacher gave her an A the next week. And when I told my ex-wife the full story, she laughed so hard she cried. She told me it sounded exactly like something our daughter would do. That night, I scrolled through my camera roll, looking for the photo, and there they were, Lucas and Mateo standing in front of the condo, but in the window's reflection behind them, I saw my daughter sitting silently. She picked up what I said about two strangers I invested in, but not what I said about my other daughter, the one no one knows about. Thank God she missed that part.